Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a very pressing matter for Nigerians. Yesterday we received a very shocking news, amidst the other shocking news we've been receiving ever since, that has to do with the restriction of most cryptocurrency exchange. But yesterday's issue was very peculiar. Why? Because the P2P platform was restricted. So therefore, as a Nigerian, we no longer have access to the P2P platform on most cryptocurrency exchange. And why is that a big blow to us? Now, for a very long time, because of the ban of cryptocurrency here in Nigeria, P2P exchange was the only way we as Nigerians could securely convert our fiat currency to cryptocurrency and vice versa, and our cryptocurrency back to fiat currency. Now, only recently, the government lifted the ban, and now there has been a couple of restrictions now on exchanges in a bid to restore the value of naira, because for a while now, naira has been undergoing constant devaluation. So the questions a lot of my students have been asking me is, what is the way forward? How do we now exchange our fiat currency, our naira note, to cryptocurrency, and how do we exchange our cryptocurrency back to fiat currency? Because the P2P exchange has provided us one of the most secured way of these transactions. Normally, you can go over the counter transaction where you find somebody who's willing to buy your assets, and you find somebody who is willing to sell to you. But then there is no security in such. So one of the most secured way has been the P2P market. Now, the restriction of this platform, what does it mean for us in Nigeria? That is the question. So today I'm interviewing a friend who is an expert in finance. So he's going to be giving us his unbiased view as to why these restrictions are here. Many of us are asking, why is the government doing this? You get, or what does cryptocurrency exchange have to do with the devaluation of naira? So my friend today is now going to be explaining from his unbiased point of view. I'm going to be asking a couple of questions, how these policies or these restrictions by the government has a role to play in the economy of Nigeria. So that's the thing we're going to be looking at in this video, and at the end of it now, we're going to be providing possible solutions and the way forward. So ensure you don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to the end of this video. Okay, so welcome back everyone. We have here with us Mr. Ajonaku, who is an investment banker and a financial expert, and he'll be talking to us concerning the recent events happening here. So, Mr. Caro, it's an honor to have you here. Thank you for obliging this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I want to believe that you've been seeing what has been happening in Nigeria in light of the current valuation of the naira. Just recently, I think as of last week, naira fell to like 1,800 naira per dollar. Yes. So what's your take on this issue from a financial and economic perspective?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, and I must say thank you for the good job you are doing in, enlightening crypto enthusiasts and people that are interested in, the financial market, and trying to bring our own points of view into what's currently going on and how it's affecting the crypto space. So like you rightly pointed out, we've experienced quite a number of depreciation. The CBN has shifted our official rates at least about 2 times now. They've devalued the naira about 2 times. So we've seen naira move from about 433 naira as at 2023, between January 2023, and like you said, only about last week or so we experienced naira going to about selling about 1,800 to $1. Which is a very massive depreciation of the naira. It is not so far-fetched, right? If you observe that from January to date, I think we've seen a movement of almost 70 to 80% depreciation in the parallel market, from about, I think, 1.2 as at January to 1.8, which is quite a big feat. But like I said, it's not really something far-fetched. A lot of financial experts have seen this happen before. If you remember last year, you can remember when the dollar almost touched 1,000. People had seen it, and they've predicted that this year the dollar was going to sell to 2,000 naira per dollar. So it's not something that is strange. so to speak. The signs were there, right? We can say the signs were there from a financial perspective. The dollar has been grossly managed by the CBN, lots of dollar subsidies going on. I think the major push for this devaluation, if we were to look at it, what is going on, my own take would be enlightenment, right? A lot of people are now to understand how a financial system works. A lot of people are now exposed to rates, right? Before, Forex rate used to be a very secretive thing, right? So the normal market woman did not know how much dollar was trading before. Even me and you going to school, even the normal people that go to school in universities, we don't really care about what the dollar is saying. All we actually cared about then was what is inflation saying, what is interest rate saying, but focus has never been on what is the FX rate saying, because the information was not really there besides what the CBN was giving out. So with people, with the exception of crypto, P2P trading coming in, a lot of people are now seeing, okay, today this is what the dollar is saying. People are now understanding the impact of what the dollar is saying compared to how we buy our goods. So now you want to buy a car and the woman tells you that dollar has gone up, and so my cost of transporting their car or making their car has gone up. So people are now interested in it. So when people are interested in it, they want to know how it works. So once they want to know how it works, right, they question the CBN that is giving us rates. Why are you giving us at this rate when we can now see that dollar is at this rate from this aboki? Do you understand? So with those questions comes, deep dive into what is really the value of this rate. So when people do a deep dive and they say things, and then you start hearing things like, with the current reserve the CBN has, it won't be able to consistently, manage the FX as it is. And people are enlightened on what the real rate is. You see, the confidence will go, and once your people start losing confidence in your currency, definitely, the demand for your currency is going to drop. And once the demand for your currency is dropping, you are going to have a very sharp decline in the value of that currency. So I think that's what we're experiencing today. People now knowing the basis, of what forms the foreign exchange market. The more they understand it, the more they see that we can't really trust the value of what we carry, which is the naira, and then they'll go for the dollar. So I think that's my take on that's what actually pushing it. But that's why we saw so much decline in this past few months. So that's what I would say on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Caro. So basically now, recently we've been having a lot of restrictions by government on this cryptocurrency. For example, I think last week they restricted the access to the website for most cryptocurrency exchanges. They restricted the access to the website. So if you go to like Binance.com and a couple of other exchanges, you will not be able to access it.
Yeah.
But yesterday on Binance, the P2P platform that allows Naira was restricted also. So if you go there and you want to trade Naira on the P2P platform, it's now difficult for you to do that. You get. So what is your take? What do you think? What do you think is the role of this exchange in stabilizing Naira, the value of Naira? Why do you think that government are taking this action? And do you think the actions are rational? That's my point. Do you think these actions are rational?
Okay, so let me start with so let me start with the first thing. So like you mentioned, they are restricting cryptocurrency platforms, users from accessing cryptocurrency platforms. Let's start with that. So I would go back to what you first said about the devaluation. So why are they restricting people from accessing these platforms? So it's because the CBN has its responsibility for monetary policy. Part of monetary policy is exchange rates. They have to defend the naira. So let's start from there. We've established that the naira has been grossly devalued these past few months at a rate that we've never seen before. We saw the thing depreciating by almost 100 naira every day, which is very unreasonable, right? More crypto-like kind of movement. It's not really something you normally see in a security of such, strong value. So it is only right as part of their duties to want to defend the naira with everything they've got, and they would go through different means, right? They'll go through different means. It's not just blocking the crypto exchanges. We've seen they've tried different means before. So if you check the last few months, they've rolled out several policies. One of them being restricting IMTOs, that's international money transfer agents, from actually sending dollar to your DOM account. They stopped that, if you remember, sometime last month. Another of the things they did, besides devaluing the naira, they adopted the FMDG rate, which is the NAFEX rate, to be the official rate, which is largely calculated by demand and supply from exporters and importers, right? So you see them try these things. On the fiscal part of it, the government has also tried on their own part by trying to see how they can mop up, oil production, so that we can have more reserve for the CBN to be able to defend the naira. You've seen security contracts going to the Niger Delta to try and protect these pipelines, so we can have enough, effects from crude oil sales. You've seen interventions given to Dangote refinery, all these things in an effort to boost our reserve. We've seen increase in interest rate. I mean, just before yesterday, the MPC increased interest rate to about 22%, all in a bid to attract FPIs. FPIs are foreign portfolio investors, so those guys abroad that want to come and invest in Nigerian securities. When they come with their dollar. So you've seen all those activities by the CBN, to defend the naira from taking further. But the thing did not also, it did stop at that point. So you still see the devaluation going on. And then they looked at it and people brought the speculation, a lot of Nigerian youths are trading in crypto. When CBN banned BDCs they were picking bookies from selling physical dollar in the street. So it hit them. People are saying, these guys are not just trading physical dollar. That's not what is just driving the rates down. There's also the crypto end of it. If I can't get physical dollar from my bookie, get USDT, which is the equivalent of $1, from the crypto exchange. So definitely news got to them that they're also trading large volumes here. Do you understand? So that's the reason they're looking at as their job to defend naira. The crypto Binance exchange is not regulated, right? Yeah, the P2P platform is the willing buyer, willing seller. So at the rate you bring, if any other person accepts buying at that rate, you sell to that person. So people were listing, USD, which is USDT, at the rates they want to list, at abnormal rates. So clamping down on that market, so people don't have the autonomy to give whatever rates they want to give, was in the eyes of the CBN, is a way of, controlling demand. So that's what did they do? They reached out to telecom companies, shut down access to some of these major players in Nigeria, the popular ones that are really vested in the Nigerian market, like Binance, like Coinbase, and some other top guys. So that's why they did that, right? Just to reduce the activity that's going on in those markets, because the demand for USDT market is really high. Because when you chase people off the street from buying dollars, people will look for alternatives. Nigerians are very resourceful people, so they went to the crypto market. So CBN followed them to that market, did that restriction, and they are not stopping there, right? They are not stopping there. Then you ask, what is the rational thing to do? Yes, to the CBN is irrational. Their job is to maintain the currency, the naira. That's their job. It's part of their primary job. So you have exchange control, you have interest rate control. Those are like the primary jobs of the CBN. So it's irrational for them to do that. Yes, it's rational for them to do that. What may not be rational is the recent news that we've heard of them now detaining, I don't know if you got that has been trending over the past 24 hours, detaining Binance executives, right, that came to Nigeria. They took their passports, So those guys are not able to travel back, and now they are asking them to, provide the list of Nigerian users, because they want to know. They want to know if you watch the NPC's meeting. Sorry if I'm digressing. If you watch the NPC's meeting yesterday, you will see Cardoso made mention of about 26 billion being transacted on Binance platform last year. 26 billion is currently our reserves are 33 billion. So 26 billion is about 65%. My maths may not be accurate here. 65% of our national reserve was traded on Binance platform. Obviously, it's going to raise eyebrows. You understand? So these are the things they are just trying to. They are basically doing their job. Now, is it rational to do that on their own part? Yes. That's what I would say. What was the last thing you asked? You asked if that move was rational. Then you asked something else. Was 3. Sorry, I didn't really jot it down.
Okay, ask what do you think is the role of these exchanges in stabilizing the value of naira? That was the question.
In stabilizing the naira. Okay, so the role of these exchanges is stabilizing. So I would rephrase that to suit the narrative of why the CBN is changing it. So what is the role of these exchanges in the devaluation of the naira? Because that's why the CBN is going to attack those exchanges.
Okay.
So what is their role in the devaluation of the naira? So their role is simple, right? Their role is simple. I'm trying to think of the term to use. Just create this scenario. We've established that people don't trust the CBN to defend the naira, right? Why? Because they don't have adequate reserves to keep subsidizing the naira. That's one, right? Now, besides the CBN and the FMDQ and formerly Aboki FX, which other avenue? The other 2 avenues are the Aboki on the street, which you have to call, right, to say, hey, Adamu Alpha, waiting dollar they talk today.
Right, please just come back.
Not everybody have that access.
The network was breaking at that point, so we didn't get to. You said which other avenue?
So I'm saying, how can you? Which other avenue rise of the narrative? So they are just about, I can count 4 places where you can find information of the price of naira to dollar. 1, the CBN,
Okay.
the FMDQ, right? Which right now both of them are the same thing because the CBN is out of the FMDQ, right? So I can put those 2, the CBN and the FMDQ, as one body, which is the official rate. To get the black market rate, is either the Abokis on the street, right, or crypto exchanges.
Okay.
You understand? So you have 3 major players that can affect the price of naira to dollar. The CBN, Nigerians have already lost confidence, right? Because for so long, the parallel market rate and the CBN rate has been, the margin has been very, very wide. So a lot of people had discarded what the CBN rate was, right? So you had people sending direct dollar to Nigeria. They will go to the bank and withdraw the money. While they can change it at the bank at the CBN rate, but since the CBN rate is low, they will withdraw the money and go to the Aboki and say, how much is this? They sell 800, they sell 1,000. Yeah, they can give me. So they've lost confidence in the CBN rate. What is left? How do they know what the rate is now? It's either the Aboki or the crypto exchange. Now, CBN has clamped down on the Aboki, right?
Yeah.
So strong. So what was the last avenue? Is the crypto exchanges. Like we said, over 26 billion being traded in 1 year. That's 65% of your reserve. So that tells you that market has very high leverage to determine what the price of the naira to the dollar will be. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is the role they play. Having that leverage, passing that volume means about 50. We can confidently say a very large majority of Nigerians depend on the crypto exchanges to determine the value of the naira. So however you look at it, the crypto exchanges have a major role to play on what the value of the naira is. So what I'm saying is, if Binance were to come today and say the value of the naira on their charts, and Binance says the value of the naira is 2,500, given the large followership of Binance in the Nigerian market, by the time King goes there and says, he wakes up in the morning and checks his bank and says, see naira to dollar chart to 2,500. He tells the Aboki on the street, my dollar is 2,500. Aboki tells this person, and before you know, that is generally accepted. That is also the case that happened with Aboki FX, that they banned it. So any exchange that publicizes a country's currency, right? One, and the exchange is largely accepted by the general public, you have influence over the rate. So that is the reason why they would definitely want to clamp down on those exchanges, because they have that kind of large influence. So they have a role to play on the stability, and that's what the government is trying to do. So you can see what the government is trying to tell them to do is to fix their rates or stop entirely from displaying the rates of the naira or dealing in the naira. So what that does is, when you stop a Binance from dealing in naira on their P2P exchange, so then the average person on the street that could just go there and see, okay, what is that naira selling today on the Binance? He doesn't see that rate, right? He does not have access to an Aboki, to Adamu, to say, Adamu, what's the current rate in the market? He does not have the access. He's not seeing P2P market on Binance. Which rate do you think he would adopt when he wants to sell his dollar?
That's the CBN rate.
He has to go back to the CBN. So that's what is happening here. That's currently what is happening.
Okay, today I was also checking, and I discovered that other exchanges like on KuCoin and Bybit, they are still trading naira on their P2P platforms. Don't you think that the fact that it's not restricted on those other platforms, there's going to be mass movement of selling dollar now or buying dollar to these other exchanges? I know that presently
sure.
largest cryptocurrency exchange you get, but now that on Binance, so does that mean there's going to be, like, if there's now migration to KuCoin or Bybit, does that mean that government is now going to
so I can guarantee you that is going to happen. I can guarantee you that is going to happen. Binance has only hit the road has only hit Binance now because it is most popular in Nigeria and the most active among Nigerian users, right? So when whatever platform they migrate to, I mean, when they give the instructions to telcos to block access to different platforms, it wasn't just Binance. I think they blocked Binance, they blocked Coinbase, they blocked they blocked several of them. I think you did a video of different ones. They blocked exactly.
There's only KuCoin that access the website. You could have said I think it was only KuCoin that you could have accessed
of KuCoin. Exactly. So when people move to KuCoin, or when they see large traction coming from that particular platform, they are definitely going to act on it, right? Because they are trying to discourage individuals from. So the foreign exchange is a tool of the central bank, and they're trying to avoid individual players in determining what that exchange rate is going to be. So they are definitely going to go there. So, but then it might take a while. The reason why, part of the reason why people use Binance is based on trust in the system. Binance has proven to be a very trustworthy platform. Right, so you're not just going to see a mass exodus in KuCoin. People would have to have tested KuCoin and are satisfied with the processes that KuCoin put in place in their peer-to-peer, transactions before they delve into it. You understand? Definitely, people are going to look for different alternatives, not just KuCoin, different alternatives. People going back to Telegram dates and everything. But then you will also have to consider the security of your assets, because this is what we are talking about here. But for sure, the government is going to clamp down on several of these exchanges.
Okay, Mr. Carroll, do you think there is any other resolve that could have been taken by the government to stabilize the economy other than these restrictions on crypto exchanges?
Yes, so what I think is there are other methods they should have used, and they could have also used, to stabilize the naira. These are just applying bandages to very deep cuts that would eventually open. And so the main issue here is you need to defend your naira. You can't float your exchange, you can't float your currency. We're not a developed nation like the Americans. Even the Americans that is developed, the reason why they can float is because their currency is a universally used currency. So everybody in the world uses the currency, so they can afford to allow demand and supply, because demand for their currency is always high. So they can afford to float because they know their currency's demand will always be higher than the supply. They control the supply and the whole world uses it. So the world's demand will definitely be more. For you that is going to use a managed system, right, the only way to defend your currency is to have foreign currency investment, right? So how can you have that? Encourage foreign investors to come into your economy. They're already doing that by increasing interest rates, but you need to make it sustainable so that you have inflows from FPI, your oil revenue that you are targeting, right? Increase production, try to meet the OPEC quota, reduce the security challenges around the pipeline. That way will fetch you more FX into your reserves. When you have more FX into your reserves, right, and you have enough money to be able to defend your currency, to subsidize it, to peg the rate at which you want people to do. People are saying the country is predominantly import dependent, right? So encourage local industry. It's not just the CBN. This is talking about the CBN and the federal government encouraging exports. Develop local industries. Let what we consume in Nigeria be Nigerian made. Let us have industries that for the basics. I mean, food, shelter, clothing. Those basic necessities, let them be produced. They are produced here in the country and we're able to consume what we produce. First of all, that would reduce the demand for imported goods. What you'll be importing would be luxury goods. And when you are importing luxury that are not primary goods, then you can tax the luxury goods very high. Produce those luxury goods in Nigeria. When you tax the ones coming from abroad, people will patronize the luxury in Nigeria, and then you still have both markets playing, in your local economy. Then that way you don't have a lot of FX going out. You have your exchange buffer is big, your reserve purse is enough. With the amount of crude we have in Nigeria, we should not be bothered about depleting foreign exchange reserve. We shouldn't be bothered. So those are the ways. Then enlighten the public. Proper orientation is the way to go. Let them understand that
Hello? Welcome back, Mr. Carroll. We lost you there for a while.
So I'll just dive right to it. So can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I had established the different avenues in which they can get forex inflows, like CBN. The federal government can assist the CBN, in getting inflows into the country's purse, so they can adequately defend the naira and have enough supply that they can supply to the banks and the registered BDCs to meet the legitimate demand, for FX. That once they're able to meet legitimate demand without any issues, then the value of the naira is going to go up. If you have over 70% or 80% of the country's legitimate demand for FX being met, right, such that someone that wants to go on medical trips can easily approach the bank and get the money. Somebody that wants to go travel can approach the bank and get the funds. An importer that wants to import can access the bank and get the funds. If they're able to meet 80% of legitimate needs of FX in the country, then the remaining 20% would not have definitely 20% would not have the leverage over the naira, and then CBN can comfortably, regulate the price and the value of the naira. Then before I got cut off, I was talking about they also need proper orientation of the Nigerian masses, uh, orientation on the exchange rate, what it actually is, so people can stop speculation. You understand? Orientation on how to access, FX. So you stop patronizing these roadside, vendors or bookies, as we call them, for FX. Proper orientation on how to, on even the exchanges, on the crypto exchanges, those that actually sell on those markets, so they know the damage they are causing, to the country as a whole. Once everything is properly regulated, I don't think we would have these issues that we're currently facing. You understand? So I think those are the avenues. The government would look into the crypto space. It's actually a space that you could go into, to improve on the economy. Pumping down on the crypto space, I don't think it's healthy. It's not healthy at all. Is it a good move? Even though I said yes, it's the necessary move for them. Is it a good move? Absolutely not. I don't think it's a good move. What they should be focused on is actually how to get supply into the country, rather than blocking avenues that people use to legitimately make money, right? And so it's not that you're treating the symptom instead of treating the disease. That's what they are doing. People lose confidence in your currency, rather than taking actions that will make them confirm that fear. Because what they did by blocking this crypto exchange is confirming the fear that already have. The reason why they went to this exchange to do this transaction, they are confirming that fear for them, and then they will further lose confidence in your ability to supply. Rather than doing that, focus on your ability to supply, and then you win the market over. So that's what I would.
Last question.
Yeah.
Do you think this move is going to be a permanent move, or do you think they would reconsider this move and remove the restrictions?
I don't think it's permanent. I don't think it's going to be a permanent move. Like I said, from the looks of things, from when they got into power, first of all, lifting a ban on crypto is a welcome move, because we still have lots of countries in the world that still have banned cryptocurrencies, right? So lifting the ban on crypto, you will know this is an industry they are looking towards finding collaborative ways, to make it work. So I don't think it's a permanent move. Also for the exchanges will not want to be. They are going to negotiate. What they are currently doing right now is negotiation. If you see the news of them detaining the Binance executive, the request is not to shut down Binance. What they are requesting from Binance is to provide them with information on the users of Binance platform. So you see, they are not working to shut it down. They are looking at collaborative means at which they can make it work for both parties. So this is not a permanent move. Anything can happen between now and the end of the year. What I see happening is compromises from both teams, either the Binance team or the government, to find a balanced system that can work for both people. But I don't think it's a permanent move. I don't see that as a permanent move.
Okay. That will be all for now, Mr. Carol. Thank you very much for the call.
Very much, Mr. King. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You have a wonderful day.
Right. You too, my dad.
Yeah, so thank you very much, my brother Carol, for that wonderful insight that you've given to us. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. For those of us in the crypto space here in Nigeria, we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this arrangement is a temporary arrangement and everything will be restored to order. So for the way forward, if you have your assets on Binance and you're thinking of ways to convert them back to a fiat currency, to naira, so what I would suggest to do is you register on Bybit, you register on KuCoin. There are some other exchanges that the P2P platforms are still working very well, so you can register on those platforms and move your assets down there, and you can trade easily on the P2P platforms. Just ensure you follow the security tips as given in our previous videos. So if you know you enjoyed this interview, don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, and most importantly, share this video. See you in the next video.